Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome to the Christopher Marc Show. Um, to today we're going to be talking about understanding what to do when you want to give up, and I'm going to tell you, like from from my experiences, what I've had to endure, but also just what my advice would kind of be as far as what you would need to do in order to get past that hurdle that you may be going through. Um, you know when you're on your journey and you're trying to understand your purpose in life and understand the person that you're meant to be, um you're going to reach this point where you're like, you want to give up. You're going to feel discouraged, you're going to feel depressed, you're going to feel very low. You're going to get into these deep moments where you feel so lost within yourself that you're not even sure how you're going to come out. How are you going to get past that, feeling? And so, I could tell you from my experience of just, growing, building a community, building a business, connecting with all types of artists, being able to, you know, grow something that's going to not only be sustainable for myself and my family, but also be able to be sustainable for other people's families as well. And when you're in the path of following your purpose, you feel you feel exhausted because it's taking everything out of you. It's taking your mental, your emotional, your physical, your spiritual. It's taking everything you literally have to offer. And sometimes people just be like, "Man, well, won't you just why don't you just give up? Work at McDonald's, right? Why don't you just go work at Burger King?" And the truth is that um, that's not going to fulfill you. It never will. No matter how you slice it, no matter how you feel, no matter how um, no matter how much you want to take the easy way out, um, it's not going to work for you. The reason why you feel these emotions of wanting to give up is you want to give up because you you feel like, man, you know what? If I give up, this will all be over, and I wouldn't have people who hate me. I wouldn't have people who feel this way about me. You'll feel like you wouldn't have to go through the anxiety, the feeling of people not accepting you as a person, or how much you care about other people, or why you care about other people. Most people are just not gonna ever really understand that, and that's the reason why you feel like you want to give up. Most of the times, it's because you're going through this stage where you're transitioning from the old version of yourself to a new version of yourself. And what's happening is that the new version of yourself is just honestly is just not going to accept the old version of you, you know? Um we think to ourselves, man, how come my relationships aren't working out, or how come this is not happening and working out? It's because you deserve more. And a lot of times in life, we deserve more, but we accept less. And I'm going to say that one more time. We deserve more, but we accept less. And the reason why we accept less because of fear, because of, of the areas where we're not willing to improve on. Most people just like, oh, well, this is just who I am. You want to accept me for who I am. But it doesn't change the fact that it's like you still need to grow as a person. You need to evolve. You need to mature. You need to work on the things that you just honestly do not want to work on. You want to ignore it. But the truth is that you can't, because as you get closer and closer to what you're supposed to do with your life and what you need to do with your life, you're going to have to make a sacrifice. And that sacrifice is the version of you that honestly doesn't have anything else to give you. You know, at a certain point, like a version of you has gotten you to the stage where, okay, now you can actually grow and thrive. But, unless you are okay with that transition, it's going to be extremely difficult. And one of the reasons why most people just give up. Like, I know for me, it's like, um, having asthma growing up, being sick, having to, have like a lot of surgeries, having to, um, being bullied, having to, being overweight, a lot of these things, and still having to overcome all of those feelings and with that, and the stress and anxiety that comes with dealing with those things. And despite of that, you actually have to thrive even more, and you have to push past those feelings and the things that usually will stop most people. You have to push past it. Um, and honestly, the only way that I was able to do that outside of is really through God. And when I say God, this is what I mean, because I know a lot of times people will say that. So you hear it all the time. People are like, oh, well, oh, you talking about God? Okay, cool, I got you. But this is what I mean. God works through people. And the way he works through people is he puts them in your life. Now, sometimes the people he send you is not going to be the people that you want, right? It's going to be a weird package, or it's going to be in a weird way. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've had, great advice from all types of people, whether it was from, some little girl walking across the street telling me, hey, everything's going to be okay, or from some, a man who's homeless and, he's just giving me advice on what I need at the time. Or, and that's the one thing about how God works. He works through people. And then sometimes if depending on how bad things are, he'll send you a person who you need to help you to get past yourself, past your feelings, past your fears, past your doubts, and to really guide you towards where you need to go. And but I can honestly say that when I say God, I'm also mentioning the people around me, because those people around me, my family, my friends, the people I work with, um, I wouldn't be here without them. Because it's a lot that goes into, you know, doing this, and it's a lot that you have these moments where you do feel exhausted, you do feel tired, but you're appreciative of having good people around you. And sometimes it's like some people might say, well, how do you know if these people are good for you or good or your type of people? Um, because you think about the one thing you have in common, God. You can, once you realize that you have God in common, then you can really do a lot of things. You can love people, you can care about them endlessly, you can do a lot of things for them. And so, um, a lot of reasons why I would say that whenever you're at this place where you feel like giving up, pray. Prayer is a powerful thing. It is it's the only way I've gotten through things, you know. A lot of times people might say, okay, well, hey, I'm not religious. And, you don't have to be religious to be spiritual. Um, and I always explain this to people. It's like spirituality is who you need to be, regardless of who you're around. It's the person that you need to be every day, And the person that you need to be working on every day is yourself, right? The religion is the ritual, it's the routine. It's, hey, I'm going to church on Sunday, for example, or I'm going, to read my Bible every day. These are the rituals, these are the routines to maintain a somewhat solid foundation while you're on this journey of growing spiritually. So you need both. I always say to people, it's like, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not religious. Like, whatever you decide to believe in or to have faith in, you have to just make sure that one has more of a ritual, the other one allows for you to evolve and grow as a person. And that's why they kind of, that's why they can coincide with each other. But if you have one over the other, because you have people who are religious but they're not spiritual, go to church all day, go here and there all day, and they'll still be like, you know, doing all types of stuff wrong. Meanwhile, you have people who are spiritual but they're not religious, so they don't have any structure. They're just free flowing through life and operating off of energies and operating off of vibrations and frequencies and stuff like that. And so what happens is that there's nothing anchoring them to the reality that is, to simplify those things, to put those things into motion. Yes, you could be a spiritual person, but is your spirituality helping you to help other people, or is it just helping you to just help yourself? So, that's why I say you always need both. But to get back to understanding what to do when you want to give up. Whatever faith you have, whatever belief system you have, just understand that what gives you peace um, is really the most important thing, right? And your religion can be, hey, I'm gonna exercise every day. I'm gonna, you know, meditate. Take this time to just relax. Your spirituality could be, this is how you're gonna help people by fulfilling your purpose and helping other people to do the same. Um, but whatever you decide to do, you have to keep in mind that it's all about you simplifying things for yourself and being patient with yourself. Um, because life is hard, life is short, and it's hard, and you can't do it on your own. You can't. I've done a lot, and I can honestly tell you that you just can't. You can't. And a lot of times we feel like, oh well, I don't need this, I don't need that. Yeah, you do. Because you can be the strongest person in the world, but like I told you before, us as human beings, we can break. And where we break, whether that's psychologically, whether that's emotionally, whether that's spiritually or physically, once it's broken, it's broken. And this is the reason why you have people who wind up in, toxic relationships and stuff like that, which is something that we'll talk about later on. But once you're broken, you're constantly looking for people to fix what what was broken. Um, but you have to keep in mind that the only person who's going to fix that is God, and because love is what heals everything. And so, the main thing I really want to leave you guys with on this episode is really to love yourself. I know as an artist, I know being around artists, a lot of us we're very sensitive, we're very emotional, we feel, and being sensitive and emotional is always has a negative connotation, but truthfully, it's not. It's a good thing because it allows for you to have compassion and empathy for other people. And the level of compassion and empathy that you have is really what allows you to create. But you just have to be mindful of your own limits and be patient with yourself. And just remember that, don't do things alone. Because, if you do things alone, eventually you're going to feel alone and you're going to feel like no one ever understands. But truthfully, as a lot of people, we're all going through a struggle in some way, shape, or form, whether that's, again, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or physically. But again, we all need each other. Um, I hope this was able to answer some questions for you guys. And, I will see you on the next episode. I'm going to be putting a link in the description. So if you guys ever want to just book a time to talk, um, feel free. But I love you guys and I appreciate everything. And look forward to talking to you guys on the next episode. Peace.